With how top-heavy this year's draft class is at tight end, there are bound to be some players who maybe should go higher than they will. One of these players could be Gunnar Helm, tight end out of Texas. Gunnar is one of those rare cases in college, sticking with one team throughout his entire career through thick and thin. He'd have to show his patience, having to wait until his third year to see any prominent impact on offense, finally becoming the backup to Jatavion Sanders. However, he'd finally get the chance to show what he can do in his fourth year.
Yours on the move, flips it, touchdown!
He'd have a fantastic year, recording 60 receptions for 786 yards and 7 touchdowns, becoming a favorite target of QB Quinn Ewers. He'd help the Longhorns make it to the college football semifinals, where they'd unfortunately lose to the eventual national champion Ohio State. But in a year where he was a John Mackey Award semifinalist and being one of the best tight ends in the country, Gunnar would declare for the 2025 NFL Draft and receive an invite to the NFL Combine.
But like, he doesn't have that blue chip athleticism, which is like really holding me up. Like that explosiveness doesn't have the blue chip explosiveness, which is like hold me up a little bit. But I love him, and he'll produce, man.
A lot of times, tight ends tend to either be blockers or receivers, and Gunnar is definitely best as a receiver. He's everything you'd expect from a wide receiver in a tight end's body. He shows a great route running ability, showing surprising explosiveness and crispness in his cuts, while also showing good vision to find soft spots in the zone. He constantly flashes his great hands and good ball tracking ability, being able to make every catch from open to contested catches with ease. To do this, he uses his basketball experience, which he played in high school, to box out defenders to keep himself in a good position, making the catch and keeping a defender from disrupting his process. He's also very good at twisting his body in any direction to make the catch, making sure to keep his feet in bounds on boundary throws. But unlike a lot of other tight ends, Gunnar has a good yards after the catch ability, not being known to go down at first contact to maximize his yards per catch. When it comes to the end zone, Gunnar has a good nose for it, using subtle push-offs and separation moves to get open for an easy touchdown. But don't worry, Gunnar can block as well. He shows solid technique in his pass protection, demonstrating a solid anchor to keep rushers at bay, and has demonstrated greatness at making blocks on the move for other ball carriers. Gunnar is definitely a great receiving tight end, but his blocking does need some work. He lacks the proper strength to play the traditional wide tight end role, exposing him to stronger edge rushers, especially at the NFL level. His base mechanics are there, but he struggles to maintain his technique during the block when his strength breaks down. When he starts to get beat on a block, he tends to make panic-like decisions, with his hand placement technique almost disappearing. He gets too wide on his blocking strikes, which limits his ability to release from a block and expose him to holding calls at the next level. So it's evident that Gunnar isn't an amazing blocker, but of course his receiving ability is flawless, right? No. He has a very limited route tree, being used mostly in crossers and seam routes at Texas, which could limit him in an NFL offense. It especially won't work with Gunnar's poor athleticism. He isn't exactly the fastest or most athletic tight end. In fact, he struggled mightily in athletic testing at the Combine, scoring the lowest or near the lowest in all the drills he participated in compared to the other tight ends in attendance. Gunnar is definitely an intriguing prospect at tight end. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's a very top-heavy class, with Tyler Warren out of Penn State and Colston Loveland out of Michigan being the clear 1 and 2 in this year's draft. His receiving ability can't be denied, with him being a good safety blanket at the next level being a very good possibility for him. I'd also like to note that Gunnar revealed he sprained his ankle at the Combine while doing his 40, which could explain his very poor athletic testing. But even then, the eye test tells you he isn't the most athletic. However, his extremely polished receiving skills make him a great tight end to take in the later rounds, with his blocking issues being an easy fix for a good coach. I like Gunnar, but I really think he's going to slip due to the lack of need at the position for a lot of teams. I feel confident with a 4th or 5th round selection for Gunnar, with good possibility him going higher. I think Gunnar can improve mightily, and I just think he needs a good team to take a chance on him and allow him to become a star.